Hello everyone, this is Gospel Center with Matthew. Today I told you we'd be going to the Old Testament, and I hadn't really been in this as much as I should be. So I just read, I was like, God spoke to me. So today be 7 years that I haven't touched any alcohol or drugs or anything. I've been sober 7 years today. October 5th, 2017 was the last time was my clean day. So I chose Proverbs 7. I wasn't going to do 5, and 5 was, because it's the 5th, October 5th, but I chose 7 because it's been 7 years. They both sort of spoke on the same thing. It was like it was meant for me to read this, evidently, because 5 and 7 is, 5 had a little bit more stuff in it, but was a little bit better of a lesson. 5, both these are hard lessons to teach, or to do on. But I've been dealing with some of this stuff for some years now, so God's got a sense of humor to give me these two, the two I was going to do. So I'm going to go on to verse Proverbs chapter 7, verse 1. Quit it. My son, keep my word, and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live. That my law as ample of thine, my law as an apple of thine eye. Bind them upon thy fingers, write them on a table of thine heart. Say unto wisdom, thou art my sister, and call understanding thy kinswoman. So, God's telling us to study His Word and to abide by His laws and to keep them in us. Almost sort of, almost like just to remember everything we read. That's what I'm getting. It says, "My son, keep the words and lie them commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live, and my law as the apple of thine eye. Bind them upon the fingers, write upon the table of thine heart." So it's clearly stating that He wants us to go by what this Word says. And sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's confusing, but we have to decipher between right and wrong, and this is our guide to do that with. So I'm going to go on to verse 5. That they may keep thee from the strange woman, from the stranger which flattereth with her words. This can be women too. You can reverse it around if you're a woman to the guys. For at the window of my house I look through my casement, and behold, among the simple ones I discern among the youths. A young man void of understanding passeth through the streets near her corner, and he went out the way to her house. And twilight and evening, and the black and the dark night, and behold, there met him a woman with an attire of a harlot, and a subtle of heart. So he's talking about these little, us going out looking for, like this guy was out looking for, and he found him. He found a harlot. That's going to these bars and these nightclubs and stuff like that. That's not the place you're going to find your wife, your husband. I'm not going to say that nobody has ever done that, but this is really not the way it was set up. It wasn't set up for that. Hopefully one day I will find a woman, because I've done looked in all the wrong places. I'll tell you one thing, and I've been a fool to a lot of this stuff that's in this. It was in 5 and 7 that I'm reading. I'm more reading on 7, chapter 7. But 5, if you have time and you're struggling with some of this stuff, go read Proverbs 5 too, because it's a little bit even harsher than this talk. So I'm going to go on to verse 13. She is loud and stubborn, her feet abide not in her house. Now is she without now in the streets and lieth in wait at every corner. So she caught him and kissed him, and with penitent face said unto him, I have peace offerings with me. This day have I paid my vows. Peace offerings could be anything. Who knows? It could be, like I said, you're at a bar. It could be drinks being given out. It could be some drugs. It could be anything. She has some peace offerings. She's enticing him into coming back to her house to have sex. And that's just, I don't know, man. It's a rough life to live. I've lived it, and I don't ever want to go back to that life. And sometimes your mind will even go back to some other things, like the sex can be addictive too. And, trying to do the right thing can be hard. It can be really hard sometimes, because your mind will get caught up in some fantasies. And like, it's really, God is meant for us to be with one person, and like, I ain't never been that guy. I've never been married, so I don't know what it's like to be like that. Now, I am a good friend, and I would be faithful to the right one, but like, I hadn't seen the right one. This world's so wicked and bad right now that I just don't know if them type of women exist. The women that this thing's talking about exist, plenty of them. And I'm pretty sure that some women say that there's plenty of guys out there that's like this harlot stuff. And maybe I've been a harlot or whatever at some point in my life. I think all of us has got some kind of dark secrets that we don't talk about. And you ain't, it's not for everybody to know everything about you. You know what I'm saying? That's what AA is so good, that you can find somebody you can trust and talk to them about some of his deep down dark secrets, because everybody's got them. If you say you hadn't, you're a liar. If you say you've just been good your whole life, man, even when you think bad thought too, God says it's a sin. So if you hate your brother in your heart, He's saying this is like you killed him. It's the same as murder to Him. So I'm gonna go on to verse 15. Therefore came I forth to meet thee, diligently to seek thine face, and I have found thee. I have decked my bed with coverings and tapestry, with carved works, with fine linen of Egypt. I have perfumed my bed with myrrh, aloes, and cinnamon. Come, let us take our fill of love into the morning. Let us solace ourselves with love. For the good man is not all home. He is gone a long journey. He have taken a bag of money with him, and he will come back home at a day appointed. So this woman is married, is what it seems like. They said the good man is not here, so she's married to a good man. She's calling the guy a good man. So she's got a guy that lives there and takes care of her. And she's just wanting to have sex with the young guy or whatever is what the story is talking, So, and that's the way a lot of people are today. A lot of people, they're not faithful to their other halves, their boyfriends or girlfriends or husbands or wives. You got swingers and all kind of crazy stuff going on in this world today, and it's just sickening. And I can understand some of it though, because like some stuff the sex can be just addictive as any kind of drug or alcohol with some people. It's just another thing that we have to watch and we have to work on, and it just ain't talked about a lot in church. I didn't want to get up here and talk about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. I was like, God, man, you just really, really. Sometimes He'll give me stuff that I don't want to get up here and talk about. Because sometimes it's stuff I'm dealing with, Sometimes it's stuff I'm dealing with, and then some of this stuff's sort of embarrassing. It's up here, it's not the funnest thing to be talking about sexual immorality, to people. But that's what God's chosen me to do today, because I guess there's some part of that still in me. So I'm trying to work it out. Going to verse 21. With her much fair speech she has caused him to yield, with the flattering of her lips she forced him. He goeth after her straightway, as an ox goeth to the slaughter, or as a fool to the correction of the stocks. So he's talking about that, like, people can rope you into stuff, but it's up to you whether you're gonna take the bait, or you're not gonna take the bait. It's like fishing, you know. Throw a worm out in the water, the fish may or may not bite it. We have a decision to make on whether we're going to take the bait or not the bait. And sometimes it just like God just does it for us. And I've been lucky. There's been a few times that, like, God just sort of stepped in and just nullified the situation, or didn't even let the situation happen for whatever reason. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes God takes care of it for us, but not all the time. A lot of time, most of the time it's up to us to react the right way. And like this poor little fella's not doing the right thing, and he's taking the bait, hook, line, and sinker. And this is what's going to happen. We'll go to verse 23. Till a dart striketh through his liver, as a bird hasten to the snare, and knoweth not it is for his life. So the man came home and struck him with a bow, shot him with a bow and arrow. That's what it's saying. It's saying it's like a bird to the snare. He took the trap, and it's costing his life. Sometimes decisions we make we can die. We can die making the wrong decision. Maybe we decide we're going to go somewhere, and like this happens. Like we run into a jealous ex-boyfriend or jealous husband or something. Maybe we don't even know the woman's married. Maybe we don't know maybe the woman don't know the man's married, or whatever, vice versa. This can go for either sex, and then somebody ends up getting hurt or killed, or you just lose your soul because you get into this. I've seen people get into this immorality, and like they get into it and they don't care. They don't care. They're just in it for the fun, and they're in it to do whatever they want to do, and they don't care who they hurt. I see people like my ex. She was like that, man. She didn't care who she hurt. She just was using people, and it's a bad life to live. And you may not physically die, but you may spiritually die doing some of these things. So keep that in mind. It's not necessarily somebody may kill you or anything like that. It could just be a spiritual death. But spiritual death, I'd rather just die than die a spiritual death, because without God, then I don't want to be here anyways. I don't want to be here if God ain't on my side. I'm going to go to verse 24. Hearken unto me now, therefore, O children, that attend to the words of my mouth. Let not thine heart decline to her ways, go astray in her paths. For she hath cast down many wounded, yet many strong men have been slain by her. Her house is the way to hell, going down to the chambers of death. Just like I said, you may not necessarily die from something happening, but it's a spiritual death. All this is going by what God tells us to do, and trying to live the best life we can. If we're not continually working on that and trying to do the best we can, then we die spiritually. And once we die spiritually, we end up in hell, not even meaning to end up there. There's a lot of people that was good people, or tried to be good people, that end up in hell because they slipped out and got into the wrong stuff. Like this whole P. Diddy thing going on. I just hear rumors and things about. I don't even really know what's going on. I hear it similar to the R. Kelly thing, You know, that's just these people got pulled astray, and I don't know whether them people was good people or bad people. It ain't really none of my business what they was, but these people got pulled away for a little bit of fame or some money, and they've lost their soul chasing this money, sex, and drugs. You know, and a lot of people get caught up in that. You know, I'm just thankful to God that today I hit 7 years, and hopefully next year I can say I'm going to pick up 8. I don't know. You know, I don't even know if I'll still be here. I don't know if I'm going to be alive. But every day is a gift that God gives us when we wake up. So I just want everybody to be thankful that God's allowing us to wake up, and God's allowing us to have choices. So we have choices in what we do. You know, you can veer off and chase the harlot if you want to, or the man, or the whatever, the drug, or the alcohol. You can chase whatever your flesh desires. God's given us free will, but it takes a stronger willed woman or man to stand for what's right. And a lot of times standing for what's right with God is hard. The world don't want to do it. The world hates Jesus. The world hates Christians. They want to kill babies, and they want to just do what they want to do. Men want to marry men, women want to marry women, and my grannies went to some kind of gay wedding this weekend. I don't know. People just do what they want to do, and I don't hate nobody. It's not right. None of the stuff's right. You know, I'm not trying to hate on nobody. That's just not what this Word of God says. The Word of God doesn't mention anything about Steve marrying Billy, or Holly marrying Joanne. It doesn't mention anything about any of that stuff in here. And I just have to go by what this book says, but it's not my job to hate anybody. It's not my job to judge anybody, but it's my job to tell people and explain what I'm reading out of here. That's what God's called me to do. And am I the best one to be up here doing it? More than likely not, because I've did so many bad things in my life, and I still will venture off and do something. I'm not going off and getting high or anything, but my mind will wander into some other, like this whole stuff we was just talking about, the sex thing. It's just, sometimes it's just hard. Sometimes all this stuff's hard, and you know what I'm saying. So it's like I'm just asking everybody to pick up this book and try to follow it the best they can. Watch the videos, listen, go to church. If somebody's watching that has not been born again, they want to be born again, they want to go to heaven, you can get a hold of me. We'll get you baptized in some water, or you go to church, whatever you want to do. But Jesus does require us to be born of water for us to get to heaven, and to not just walk around in sin. You know, we know what's right, we know what's wrong, and sometimes it's just a hard road to travel. I'd hate to know that I was just stuck in something so bad that I couldn't, and I have been. I've been put in chains, and you know, I've been in that just self-indulgent sin. And this sometimes it's hard to get out of. Sometimes a lot of people will never get out of it. And it's just, I pray for this world, because this world's not teaching this. And I may not be the most popular person saying some of the stuff I say, but what I say I truly believe, and it's truly what God's put on my heart to say. So, hate me or love me, I'm gonna keep putting it out. So if you like what you've seen, like, share, and subscribe, and y'all have a blessed night.